A buddy of mine, David Swinside, reached out to me about a new technique out of Japan that he wanted me to get good at so that I could help bring it to you. So David sent me some of the baits that really were designed around this technique. Now there's a lot of other baits out there that you can use, you know, you can go try it with a few things. Now I do want to say, I kind of seen another video talking about this, and I don't want to say it was wrong, but it kind of was. I mean, you can fish, okay, I will never tell you that the way you fish anything is wrong if you're catching fish on it. But this is from Dranckrazy, the people that really kind of came up with this technique. And the technique itself, I'm not even going to try to butcher the Japanese pronunciation of it, so I'm just going to give you the English translation, and it's called quiver trapping. So quiver trapping, these baits, you can do a lot of different things with them, but these are called the Skibble from Dranckrazy. And the color that he sent me, and it's the color that we've been catching them on, is called Silky Pearl White. Now, what I like about this setup is it's got a splayed tail, got a very unusual tail. This is a proprietary type of plastic for them. Like, you can tell when you feel it, it just feels different than anything I've ever used. It feels silky, kind of, oddly enough. It's got the red eyes on there. It's, you know, you can fish it a lot of different ways, like a jerk bait. It's got the belly, it's got the hook slot in the top. The quiver trapping really was designed around this particular bait. This is 6 inches, and luckily when David sent it to me, he sent me a hook. Now, I don't exactly know what size that is. I'm gonna guess that's maybe a 2 or 3/0, and I don't remember the company either. I believe it's Prox or Proxy, however you pronounce it, and I will find it and put a link in the description. I will put links in the description for all this. Now, geeks, I will tell you, I don't think they have these on Tackle Warehouse right now. I know they do have these, but I will put a link to where David told me to make sure that you could go pick them up. I actually have to go pick me up a couple other packs. They do come in some other colors. But like we always say, we don't do memberships or Patreon like that. If you want to support the channel, make sure you go down and click on that Tackle Warehouse link, bookmark that thing, or scan and bookmark it on your phone, this QR code right here, because what that'll do, anytime you go, and if you're going to buy baits anyway, just use that. It doesn't cost you a dime, but it does help us out and show Tackle Warehouse that you guys shop there and support us by shopping there. Now, let me show you how to rig this, okay? So this was something that David, and through trying, just because I'm a old country boy and, you know, hillbilly, I'm always gonna try things my way, but I can tell you, he's very right. Generally, when I'm throwing topwater, and that's kind of what this is, like I said, I seen another video where the guy was talking about it and using it. He was really twitching it underwater. That is not how I've had success. I'm not saying you can't do it that way, but the way I've had success doing this is as a dying bait fish on the surface of the water, which is how it's been kind of explained to me to fish it. Luckily, when David sent these to me, he had it pre-rigged. And the thing about it is you don't want it dead center. You don't want it wacky rigged. You don't want to come completely through the bait. What you're going to do is you're just hooking it in the side. And what you want to do, because the action you want is going to be that this bait is going to swim to the side, so kind of away from you. And so what you want to do is you want to come right through here, and if it's not getting the correct action, then you want to move it back or forth just a fraction of an inch. We'll talk about rod, reel, and line in just a minute. I do fish this on a mono leader to keep it up out of the water. And I'm just going to tie a pitzine knot on, just straight through the hook. Circle that around there about 5-6 times. Now you can tie a San Diego jam, and the only difference between the pitzine and the San Diego jam is we're going to go through the bottom and then through the top loop. We're going to wet it, and then you pull it down, snip that tag in, and there you have it. So now what we want to do is we want to make absolutely sure that we're getting the correct action. But before that, it really is important on the rod, reel, line that you use to get this thing to do what it should do. So rod, reel, line that you want to use something that's fairly high speed, medium heavy, because this is a 6-inch, it's pretty heavy. Again, this is the buoyant kind of stretchy plastic. This is a TFO. This is a 7'3" medium heavy fast action, but you do want to use something that's got a softer tip to it. And the good thing about this is, even though it's a fast action, it's still got a pretty soft tip to it. So this is my Topwater rod, Topwater combo that I've used forever. And by the way, this is a Taction, so this is their kind of mid-level rod. Great rod. Now, I've got this coupled with a Fitzgerald VLD 10, and the speed on that is a 7.2 to 1. Been a big fan of the VLDs, hope they keep making them, and you geeks need to go out there and check them out. Line is extremely important. You can kind of offset it a little bit by changing up the weight of the hook, but you want a good hook. And like I said, this is probably a 3/0 hook right here. I haven't looked at it in there to see exactly which one it was, and it will kind of drag it down. But you want to make sure you're throwing something. I would say 30-pound test braid, and for me, I'm going to throw about a 8 to 15 foot mono leader, and the shorter the better, simply because mono will take on water and it will sink below the surface slightly, where braid will stay on the surface. So you get a better action, you get more control by using that braid to mono leader. Again, that braid, and you want that mono leader to be as short as possible. I like 8 feet. I don't really like going down past 5 because a lot of times you set the hook and you're not swinging away on this, but you set the hook, and what ends up happening is that knot just can't take the shock of setting that hook sometimes. So it's really key to get that right. Shorter casts you can get away with all mono, but longer casts you almost have to have that braid to help float that bait. Even though, like I said, it's buoyant, the line mono will take on water and will sink. So what I use is K9's casting braid, that 30-pound test, 25 to 30-pound test, something that's going to be thick, be heavy, keep it up on the water. You almost have to go to K9's 30-pound because it's such a slim, sleek braid. Plus you can cast it a lot farther. And by the way, and then whatever mono you like to use, by the way, I'm telling you, you need to go check out K9's braid, especially the casting braid, and 10% discount right here. So fishing this takes a little bit of work. It's going to take a little bit of work on getting the rigging just right, and it can be different for every combo that you try based on how stiff or how soft the rod is. You know, we were throwing this on a stiffer medium that had a moderate or had a fast action on it this morning, but it took a little more twitching to get the bait to move. The medium heavy that we've been using right now takes a little lighter twitches to get the bait to move. And the key to this bait is not wacky rigging it, not popping it or making it look like it on its side, is to quiver it so it moves sideways. You want the bait to be swimming away from you. We were doing some shots just a few minutes ago and I threw the bait off the back of the boat, and literally Mike followed it. It literally swam around the boat. I can make this, once you get good enough, you can make this bait literally do circles, do laps around your boat once you know how to quiver this little bait. So you do have to adjust it back and forth based on what you're doing. Something that I can really say though, get it a little toward the top of the bait, okay? So not directly in the side. And you can play with that too. Rod and wind and time of day will make you have to adjust and play with that. Generally, what I'm going to do, what I've really been having fun with this fall or so far in late September, early October, is working it around areas where there's busting bass. And later in the day, when the sun comes out and they get up into some laydowns and some brush piles, working this right over top of those shallower laydowns and brush piles. We've had a lot of success on the highlands reservoirs that I fish. All right, geeks, so when they hit this, a lot of times it's not really going to be that big kaploosh kind of hit. They're going to come up, they're just going to follow, and they're just going to suck it in. They're just going to drain it out of the bottom, drain the water out of the bottom underneath it. So you need to wait until you feel the weight of the fish before you set the hook. Now, setting the hook, don't swing away, because that's a lot like a frog style hit. So don't swing away like a frog. You're just going to come up a nice solid 45-degree hook set, and then you're going to fight that fish into the boat. Remember, that is a lot of plastic you've got on there. So keep that rod tip down, get them over, get them on a net, or get them on your thumb. All right, guys, remember, Dranckrazy is the company. This is the Skibble. This is called Quiver Trap, all right? And I'll put links down in the description. Again, Tackle Warehouse don't have the Skibbles yet, but I will put a link where you can get them. Now, if you want to learn about another awesome technique for the fall, make sure you go check out this video right here. Otherwise, questions, comments in the comment section below. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell, be part of the 100% Watch Squad, and let's get to 100K. Thank you, geeks.